10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
PewPewNationTV, welcome to Freedom Friday and happy Veterans Day, man. Woo! Let's get some applause going up in here. There we go. Happy Veterans Day to all my veterans out there. What's up, guys? Glad to see that you guys can make it in here, because I know there's some of you veterans out there watching right now, right? And if you are, let me know. I'd like to at least get to know your name and give you some recognition on the next one, or maybe in the commentary, who knows. But I just want to know that I got some fellow brothers and sisters out there. Just leave me some comments down below. Let me know who you are, where you served, and what branch. Not that it matters. I know that when we get together on a day like today, which I probably will get together with a few of the guys later on, we're not all from the same branch. You know what I mean? There's different branches in there, and sometimes we do a little mudslinging at each other. It's all in good fun, though. But in all honesty, look, if you guys had the stones, to put on a uniform and serve this great nation of ours, it doesn't matter what branch you served in, you got my respect. Okay, it doesn't matter. But today is not what some in the civilian community would deem to seem, oh, it's like Memorial Day. No, today's not Memorial Day. Memorial Day is when we, pay respects, and it's a somber moment, for those that gave all. Today is to celebrate those that are currently, active duty, that are deployed, those that have, served and stuff like that. And somebody gave me a little note the other day, because they knew that the Veterans Day was coming up, and they said, "Hey, man, on Veterans Day, what's a don't laugh? What's a politically correct way to, say Happy Veterans Day to a veteran?" I'm like, Happy Veterans Day. Not that difficult, right? But he's like, "Oh, do I have to thank you for your service?" And I'm like, no. I said, look, and I'm just going to come out and say it. And if any of you fellow veterans out there feel the same way, let me know down below. And if you don't, okay, fine. It's your opinion. It's cool and everything. But I really, really don't like it when people say thank you for your service. That's just me personally. I just don't. It just gives me the ugh, it does. And it's not in spite or in hatred or anything like that. You guys don't know. You want to thank somebody. You want to thank, thank you for your service and stuff like that. Thank the families of the ones that gave all that are up in Arlington. Thank them, right? Because they gave everything. Thank the ones that came back, that are missing, limbs, if you will, that are in a wheelchair, that are, that can't, lead a somewhat normal life like you and I can. Me, no, man. I went over, I did what I had to do. And I was blessed enough and lucky enough to come back with all my limbs, and stuff like that. So no need to thank me. I did what I had to do, basically to, to stay free, man, to defend this nation. So where do I start today? It's Veterans Day. Well, I got some pictures of, family up here, because I've got a lot of family that, and a long history of veterans. Okay. That served. And I'm talking about blood relatives, like near and dear. But in the beginning, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. No, it was actually Florida. It wasn't a galaxy. But I remember coming out of high school, right? I graduated high school, and my dad came to me and asked me, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And I told him, well, I said, college is out of the picture. We couldn't afford it, right? It was too damn expensive. We just couldn't do it. There was just no way. living in base housing, outside Homestead Air Force Base. It just wasn't a thing, man. Just, whatever. And I could care less. I didn't care at the time. My head was somewhere else back then. The majority of my friends, guys that I went to high school with, I'm gonna probably go out and say, 80% of them, 80% of people that I knew in high school in my circles back in those days, we all went to the military. The other ones, they either got into, banking, real estate, they went to college, they went to school, and I have no issues with that. God bless and love them all still the same. It wasn't their calling. It's not what they were put here to do. So, dad asked me, he pulled me to the side one day because, I wasn't your back in the day when I was coming up, I wasn't your model student. If you know what I did. I did a lot of crazy shit. And I got away with a lot of crazy shit back in those days. Why? Well, nobody was watching or monitoring us, right? So nobody knew. Sucks for you guys today, though, especially you young ones. Anyway, um, yeah. So I told dad, one day I said, you know what? I said, I want to enlist. I'm going to join. And he kind of stopped a moment and he looked at me and he goes, seriously? And I said, yeah. And he asked me, well, why? And I didn't want to answer him at the moment, or at the time, I should say, because for me, it was something that was deeply personal. And I mean, it was just deeply personal, really. After all the shit that we went through, growing in communist Cuba and stuff like that, and the atrocities that my family went through, and the loss of life, and, fucking not being to eat sometimes for a couple days. And then, when we did have food or something like that, it was like, it was shit and it was not enough, but, we got by. I remember one time in particular, uh, and I'll just share this with you. We were sitting at the dining room table in our gigantic house that we had. I think it was a 12 by 15 space with a common bathroom outside. Yeah. Oh, hey, nothing but the best in communism, right? Hey, yeah. Um, we sat down to eat, and mind you, we had already gone past the 15-day food ration card limitations. Now, for those of you out there that don't know, I'll use this, my pocket constitutional booklet, as an example. Think of a booklet, something like this, about the same size. And it has, like, 10 to 15 pages in it. And each page represents, one food item. Okay. It could be 5 pounds of rice, 5 pounds of beans. And I'm just giving you examples here. Uh, Maybe a whole chicken, some beef, very little beef, very, very little beef. The system did not want the the people at the time eating beef. Beef was like something that was only for the elites. So they started, rationing the hell out of beef. There was a lot of shortages, and then it was also very, very expensive to acquire because it was considered a luxury. Sound familiar? The price of beef today here, how they're coming after the cattle ranchers and the farmers and, the meat processing plants that have shut down. Anyway, I don't want to get down that rabbit hole, but just go with me on this one and just trust me. Just draw comparisons and you make up your own mind. So anyway, so we sat down to eat at the dinner table, and what we basically had after going through our 15-day, because it was supposed to last a month, because you got one of these booklets once every 30 days, but it would only last you 15 days. Why? Well, there was never enough in here to go 30 days, right? I mean, you couldn't do it. You had to eat 3 times a day, right? No, once a day, maybe, depending. And that was all also pertinent on availability at the grocer. If they had it, great. And if they didn't have it, you either stood in line outside under the hot sun and baked until it got there, if it got there, or if not, you just came back the next day, or you would have to find something to barter with, with somebody that had it. And, you had to go underground because you just couldn't acquire it anywhere. All under the watchful eye of, your neighbor, a relative that worked for the regime, but you didn't know that. And they would snitch on you because you were being watched and monitored and listened to 24/7. everywhere you went, you were being watched everywhere. And if you stepped out of line or you didn't conform, you got snitched on. And God forbid if the little Russian black Lada, the automobile, would show up in front of your house and you would jump in that car. Basically, we never saw you again. You were going away. That was it. So anyway, we sat down to eat, and I remember that day in particular, we had a baseball size ball of dough that came out of what was a loaf of bread. We had two hard boiled eggs. We had a quarter-pound bag of sugar, about that much sugar in a bag, and a glass of water for each of us. Well, mom and dad took a tablespoon of sugar, dumped it inside the water, stirred it around just to add some flavor to it. Um, Carved up the hard-boiled eggs, all two of them, and took the ball of dough of bread, that basically we broke it apart and just dip that in the egg, whatever, if it was a little runny or not, and just ate that with the egg. And that was dinner. That was done. That was it. There was nothing else really. You couldn't get anything else, or you couldn't acquire anything else at the time because that's what it was. And I remember that day in specific, especially. I was like 8, I think. Yeah. And there's a knock on the door. And mom goes to answer the door, and the door opens up, and it's 4 guys in olive drab with AKs strapped around them from the state, the government. They showed up and they got a clipboard in their hand, and they asked dad about, hey, we understand that you work for the postal service. And he's like, yeah. And dad was a telegraph operator back in the day. He's the one that did the whole, for those of you that don't know what a telegraph operator might be, those are the ones that did the whole, Morse code, that whole that thing, right? Okay, you get it. And that's what he did. He would transmit and receive telegrams and stuff like that because why? Well, dad also served back then. So he knew it, right? So he had a job. Anyway, he was also big into ham radio. Okay. And he did have his ham radio, and he would talk to people all around the world and stuff like that. Dad was very fluent in English. He wrote it, he spoke it because he learned it in the university. He was also a huge, huge constitutional scholar for America. Dad knew the Constitution better than some of my teachers did in school. Knew it like the back, in and out, back of his hand. And I learned a lot from him when it came to that, which bears the question in mind, when we got that knock on the door, basically what they were there for, and I'm not going to go too much down that rabbit hole here today. They basically confiscated the guns because they knew that he had them. He had a side-by-side stagecoach shotgun, and he had a little 22 rifle. I think it was by Woolworths and Company because they used to make rifles back in the day. No, sorry, it was Sears. Sears and Roebuck did a little 22 rifle. And he had it. He used it for hunting. And he knew that he had it because they were registered. Because under Batista, before Castro came in, you had to register all your firearms when you bought them. And then they pulled the registrations, and they knew who had them, and they systematically went door to door, and they picked them up under the pretense of it's going to be a charitable contribution for the revolution because the Yankee imperialists, the Americans, were going to attack us any day now. And we need all of the armament that we can get our hands on because we have a shortage. Yeah. Anyway, so when they took them and you couldn't say no, dad shut the door after they ransacked the place, and they turned around and looked at my mom and told her, we just lost the country. Never forget that. And I've spoken about this before, but this is part of the reason, or one of the biggest reasons why, when dad asked me, why do you want to go to the military after graduating high school? Because I remembered all that shit. Right. And I told him flat out, I said, look, America was gracious enough to open its arms and welcome our sorry asses in here. Okay. And I want to give something back. Right. I want to pass that freedom torch, or that baton, if you will, to either the next generation or the next group of people that, succumbed to communism and stuff like that. And they took the same path that we did. Right. So I just wanted to keep those doors open for others. to, you know, come in here and assimilate and become Americans, learn the language, you don't get a job, pay taxes, you know, the whole deal. We wanted to be Americans, man. That was the thing. That was the thing to do, right? And I was like, what better way than to go and volunteer, right? To keep freedom open and available. And I'm going to tell you, my dad and I never had a really good relationship, um, because of the fact that communism really, really did a number on him. And then he spent the better part of his life, you know, inside the bottle. And over time, that took a toll. And the abusiveness started setting in and things like that. Uh, but when we did speak and when we did agree on certain items, this was like the first time my old man balled up when I told him exactly what I just said, you know, that I wanted to serve. I wanted to go. And he said, "You're doing the right thing." He goes, "I admire you for doing that." I mean, mind you, and dad did not expect that from me because back then, you know, my hair was, you know, shoulder length and I smoked a lot of weed, you know, I drank a lot of beer and I hung out with some pretty interesting people. Okay. I never got arrested though. Came close, but you know, never made it there because like I said, there were no cell phones. You know, they were just starting to come online and, you know, cameras and stuff like that just wasn't a thing. So we got away with a lot of shit, you know, because no one was watching. But anyway, I got through that. So I enlisted, right? And I wanted to get the hell out of town really, really quick. So I got some pictures of myself and his family and stuff like that, just some memories, you know, just to show you you know, what happened and who was what and who did what and where they went and stuff. And um so it's just going to be sharing some pictures. Today's going to be kind of lax, guys. So this is probably not going to be a very, you know, well orchestrated or put together video. It's just more of talking from the heart on a personal level. So if it sucks, let me know in the comments. It's Veterans Day, so I really don't give a shit. Uh, this is just my way to tell my story a little bit so you guys out there can get to know me a little bit better and you can have a better understanding of why I do what I do here on the channel and why the Constitution and why freedom is so fucking important to me on keeping it in this country. Okay. And fighting for it because you don't want it to go away. Believe me. Okay. So let's bring up, here, let's go over here. Let's bring up photo number one. Okay. And you're going to have an idea. Yeah, I know I look a hell of a lot better back then, right? Um, next in line here, I'm going to start off with my cousin Pete. Pete's no longer with us. Pete, where are you, buddy? This is Pete right here. This is my cousin Pete Gonzalez. Okay. He was in the army. He served in Vietnam. He did 3 to 4 tours, I believe, if memory serves me correct, over in Vietnam. Um, this boy was a badass. This boy right here, man, the stories that I used to hear from him when he came home as a kid, as a youngster, was insane. He was like one of my biggest heroes, man. He was more of a dad to me than my own dad was because we were tight. We shared a lot. Um, and we lost him, I want to say 4 years ago because he was exposed to the Agent Orange when he was over there in Vietnam. And he got leukemia. It went into remission for years and years and years, and he was fine. And then, you know, it just reared its ugly head, and within a week, he was gone. Uh, miss him terribly. But Pete was in the army, um, like I said, and he has 2 sons. Okay, my cousins, and I'm gonna bring them up here really, really quick. I got a lot of pictures of these guys. These guys, I love these guys to death. So let's start with this one. This is Pete later on in years with his wife Maddie. Uh Maddie and I still we talk a lot, you know, she's great people. And that was Pete also as well. But let's bring up his 2 boys, right? So I got some pictures. This is Pete Jr. Pete Jr. on the right, and that is Hector on the left. So Pete Jr. On the right, he was Army Air Cav. Okay, he did multiple tours over in Afghanistan and Iraq, along with his brother Hector on the left over there. He was a combat engineer in the Marine Corps, and he did the same tours as his brother did in the same area at the same time. All right, and they actually met up when they were over there in the Sandlot. But let's show some uniform pictures here better. All right, so there is Pete Jr. All right, he was airborne air cav. Uh, he came back. He came back special from over there because what this kid saw, over there was some hardcore shit. Okay, especially when it came to hosing out helicopters, and we'll show you one here in just a moment. So there is Pete Jr. Let's bring up his brother Hector. Here's my boy, combat engineer in Marine Corps, multiple tours under this guy's belt right here too. Another badass. Okay. This is when they met up over there in the Sandlot. There they are, side by side. What a coincidence that is, huh? It was amazing. I thought it was cool as shit. That they, actually got to do that and to share that. Let's bring one up at Hector over here. There he is with his M16. That was pretty cool. Here's a shot of in Pete Jr.'s air cav ship, over there. And that was pretty cool. There he is right here on the bottom. You can see me move my pointer around. There's Pete Jr. and there's Hector right here. Or sorry, he's up here. Hector's up here, right above him. So I thought that was pretty neat. Man, there was some stories there. Oh yeah. I'm gonna bring up now. Let's go back to Pete first for a moment, okay? Because like I said, I've got some pictures here that he forwarded to me when he was here with us. This is him over in Vietnam. I started to laugh at some of these, right? There's him and his boys. There he is over here in the upper right. Here he's hanging out in one of the barracks. There he is down out in the bush. Okay. Basically, what he did is he basically spent a lot of time down in the Mekong Delta. He was on what they call the river boats for the Army. He was the one that would take weapons, ammunition, and stuff like that, throw them on a riverboat and send them upriver or downriver, wherever, the mission dictated, to resupply the squads that were out in the bush. Okay. Is basically what he did, aside from other duties, but that was his main objective was that. Let's bring up another one here. Here's a good one. Okay, here he is again. This is I'm gonna assume he is probably here working with some local of the resistance of the Vietnamese, that worked alongside U.S. troops. Looks like he's in some sort of a depot there. There he is again with his M16, favorite rifle of the day. That's a badass toy. Love that thing. But you can tell, right? You can tell of, always smiling too. That was another beautiful thing about Pete. He always had a damn smile on his face. You can never figure out why, but he never talked too much either. He just didn't do it. So here's a picture from a few years ago. A group of the guys, actually, no, it's more than a few years ago. This was taken, let me see, when was this taken? This was actually taken in 21. Wow, believe it or not. So basically there I am. There's another veteran, Army veteran right here next to me, Todd. And there's Charlie. Charlie is no longer with us. He's gone. Vietnam veteran also as well. Steve Heron, he was a Navy vet, buddy of mine also as well. Then you got Kenny back here. He was this guy here, man, top. It's what we call him, top in the Army, right? He's like, he went the highest you can go in the enlisted ranks for the Army. These other guys that are here, just civilians, and there's some other ones who are outside a picture that were over to my right. Big group of us. We still get together every year and we hang out on Veterans Day. We get together, we slam back a few, start talking story, and just have a good old time. What else? Veterans Day. I mean, so moving, fast forward and stuff like that, just to give you an idea out there of, what do you do? What do you do as a veteran? Some people ask me, what's your life like? What do you do? What do you hang out? Well, I'm here on YouTube, right? I do videos. I bring truth uh, as most as I can, but we do share a lot with a lot of the veteran charities that are out there. We do work with a lot of those people. The wife and I do, and that's something that's very, very personal that I hold near and dear to me. And we take care of each other. Okay, we're a close knit community, believe it or not, and we just do. And a lot of you should do that too. You should take care of each other, right? Find yourself a cause, something that's important to you, and just do what you need to do. So I'll just share some stuff here at home. Let's go over here. So this is my happy place. Okay, this is we're going in the winter now. This was I think it was in July. This is my backyard, and I'm sitting on one of the swings that I got set back over there. And it's just me. I'm kicking back and I'm doing a little bit of reflecting. My dogs are probably near me somewhere. Got the tiki torches going here. Probably have, two fingers of something in my hand, and getting ready to fire up a cigar. That's what I do. It's my happy place. It's my happy time. It's my quiet time. It's my disconnect where I do a lot of reflecting back there. Then here's a good one. We're a very patriotic bunch. This is also in the backyard. That was on the July 4th celebration. The doggy to the left there, that's my Otto. I lost him December 22nd of last year. He was only 7 years old. He got bloat. He got really sick, and I had to put him down. One of the hardest decisions I've ever had to do. That one hurt. It hurt like hell. I miss him a lot. And the one on the right is Callie. She's still with us. All right. She's still here. That's my girl. One of my girls, my little alpha female. She tells everybody else what to do. And I'll show you now. I'll share with you guys a current one. And this is my current pack that I have today. Okay. There we go. That's me going on our little pack walk that we do every week, every Saturday. So in the front on the lower, well, let me see. I'll use my pointer again. Right here, this is Callie. Okay, she is my alpha female. This is she's 2.5 years old. This is little Nala. Okay, Nala is we call her Chunky. Okay, because she's just chunky. All right, she's lovable. She's actually 7.5 months old right here. She's almost as big as Knox. Knox is my big boy. Okay, always smiling. You can tell, right? Always happy. He's 2.5 right now. And he is huge. He is a big boy, but he's a big goober. Okay. He's lovable. Very intimidating look, fully trained. He'll take your leg off if he has to. But other than that, he'll roll over and let you give him a belly rub. It's just where he is. He's a great dog. Love that guy to death, man. I love all three of them to death. And this is what I do. Right. I love spending more time with these three right here than I do with some people sometimes. But then again, sorry, that's just me. I'm not trying to be rude. It's just the way it is, man. Let's see. Where else can I go here? Done that, showed you that. All right, just some things to keep in mind. Oh, I want to share this with you. I got this from a good friend of mine who's I'm going to be doing a video here for him pretty soon. One of my gunsmith, Jamie D up in Oregon. This guy is one hell of an artisan. What a master craftsman this guy does. The work this guy does is insane. You're going to have to check out one of the review videos I'm going to do for him here upcoming soon. He just did this for me. He made me a coin. This guy is awesome at making coins, right? So he sent me this. He sent me this bad boy. Look at that beauty right there, huh? Navy anchor. Okay, got my name there on the bottom. Let me show you the other side of that. Look at the detail on that thing. That is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. The picture does not do it any justice whatsoever. You got to hold this in your hand to really appreciate the beauty and the exquisite detail that he puts into his work, into everything that he does, right? There you go. Did I miss anything? Yeah, I just got some, basically just some, some 2A stuff here that is, why not? The hell with it. This is a great statement that I like right here. It's like really the best quote ever. So, if violent crime is to be curbed, okay, it is only the intended victim who can do it. Okay, listen to this. The felon does not fear the police, and he fears neither judge nor jury. Therefore, what he must be taught is to fear his victim. Huh? Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Cooper, USMC. You guys understand that? The meaning of that? In other words, get strapped, get yourself a carry permit, train, get good at it. And whenever you leave your home, leave strapped. Okay. Especially in the world that we're living in today, guys. Okay. You got to protect yourself. Exercise your Second Amendment right. Okay. Is basically the message in that right there. Here's another one that one of my personal favorites. This one has got some meaning behind it. It just popped up for me one day at the internet when I was laying in the hospital bed with the Rona, by myself, because of course they didn't allow visitors or anything like that. And this thing I used to read this thing at least 3 times a day, and it kept me going. God doesn't give his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers. He creates the toughest soldiers through life's hardest battles. Nothing could be further from the truth with this. Anybody that has done or gone through some serious life challenging moments or whatever, anything that's been challenging that really just tugs at your heart a lot. This got me through my day every single day, just knowing this right here. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you also as well. And then my last one, which is going to be this one right here. I mean, I got thousands of these, but there's not enough time in a day to do this. Okay. What is basically the, what is, sorry, what is basically the, how can I put this? Your belief factor. What is your daily belief factor? What happens in the mind of veterans, if you will, is the only way I can put it. I can't coin it any other way. My belief factor is, at the end of the day, with everything that's going on in the world today, where we're at as a country, where I'm at personally when it comes to, with stuff that's happening and that's going on, I basically am to the point, man, where it comes to stuff, if you will, is this. Oh, where to go? There we go. No quarter. No quarter at all. No mercy is basically what this means. Okay. At all. No mercy. And if you guys don't know what this is, if you remember Blackbeard the pirate, Mr. Edward Teach, that was his flag on his ship. Okay. The skull, with the spear going through the heart and the cauldron on fire. Burn the ships, man. No quarter. You're not giving up. You're not giving in. You're not taking any more shit from anybody. You're going to do this for you and you only. And you're going to get it done no matter what it takes. Whatever challenge, whatever struggle, whatever life throws at you, you can get through it. You just have to have enough belief. Matter of fact, I think I made a comment when I was doing a reaction video to Tom McDonald over with Jeff over at Freedom to Think, where he's got one of his tattoos on his face also says no quarter. He understands. He gets it, right? Because, again, he's done life. Like a lot of us out there in Hangover Gang have done life. Okay. So you guys understand and and you get the message. That's why I love the hell out of you guys, man, because you guys are real. You guys are the real deal. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, man. Something more on a personal level, not really something, spooky or tinfoilish or anything like that, because that doesn't live here in my world. But I just wanted to come on today and just share with you guys on a Freedom Friday and do a special edition because it is Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all my veterans out there. Happy Veterans Day, America. Okay. Keep enjoying your barbecues and your picnics and stuff like that, because a lot of us, did what we had to do. like I did it for my parents, and I did it for those that wanted to escape, you know, tyranny and oppression and communism and come to a free country. I wanted to, you know, take that baton, pass on that torch to give others the same opportunity that was given to us when we immigrated here. I value that and I cherish that. You can't even imagine. You have no idea whatsoever how important and how close I hold that to my heart. You just, unless you've been there, you don't know. But that being said, I love you guys. Take care. We will see you on the next one. Enjoy your Veterans Day. God bless.